Why are we doing this episode today, Shannon?
Because I've had 2 different people in less than a week ask me, well, what plants should I put out in the fall for fall color? Like, what can you plant now?
Only mums. You can only do mums. Didn't you know that?
Only mums. Only do mums. I work for the chrysanthemum industry. Only do mums. No, but you know what? Here's the deal, is that it's actually a super fair question. And I know that over the last couple of years, I've embraced fall gardening more than ever before.
Yeah.
Like, I really just kind of always focus spring, summer, and maybe threw out a few shrubs in the fall. But now I'm like, oh my gosh.
There's a lot to do.
So much. There's so much to plant. That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to Fostering Blooms, the podcast where we dig deep into gardening and all the ways it can enrich your home and life.
Together, we'll explore every aspect of gardening the organic way, keeping it simple, accessible, and fun.
Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands in the dirt, we're here to share the tips and insights you need to grow something truly special. I'm Shannon Foster Boleen.
And I'm Caitlyn Blum, and we're 2 friends on a mission to cultivate beauty, creativity, and connection through everything we grow. This is Fostering Blooms.
Well, let's talk about some fall color.
Fall colors.
Love it. Are you a fall? I'm a fall.
I think I'm a spring.
I'm not a fall. I don't even know. That's so 80s. Let's not go there.
But right now we should be fall.
Right.
So let's pretend we're falls.
Okay.
What would our colors be?
I would definitely want some purples and plums right now. Maybe a little cranberry touch in there.
I'm kind of obsessed too with I love that terracotta color. I just love it. And I use it year round. And it's a very fall color.
It is a very fall color. Okay. Let's talk about plants.
So what do we got? Except for mums.
Yeah.
We know about those.
Okay. Think about it like this. We've got annuals and we've got perennials. And a lot of times when people say, what can I plant now for color? They're really thinking about annuals, which is totally fine. Mm-hmm. But I want you to expand your mind and think about annuals and perennials. Included in perennials are going to be some of our shrubs, because if you're like me, of course we're attracted to beautiful flowers. We get really into flowers, but sometimes we forget about the leaf shape and texture and how that looks against something else, or the height and how that looks. But we also forget about the structure. And I do really love the structure of gardens. And I think that's why I'm attracted to so many English gardens, that kind of arts and crafts style where it's a combination of loose flowing flowers with structure. So this time of year is great for that too. So we're going to talk about that, because yes, we all want to pop a color, but we also want longevity, right? Like, we want things that are going to flower for us again or come back the next year. When you think about what can I plant right now for fall, great, let's think about some immediate things, but let's also think about some things that next year you won't even have to ask that question.
Because it'll be in place.
It'll be in place.
I'm so glad you said that. Longevity. I think that's smart. Yeah, we want instant. We want to go to the store. We want to buy it. We want to plant it. And we want it to look good right now.
Right.
But I think it's so smart to think down to the foundation or the base is your structural plants. And you are very good when it comes to designing a space in an area. You're very good about your structural components.
I mean, I love those shrubs equally, I think, to the flowers and everything else, because in the winter when I look out in the garden and I took the time to put that structure in and the snow is laying on it and it doesn't look like just a flat piece of land, you're really glad for it. And you're glad for what it brings the birds in and other things. Okay, we're going to list out some things for you, and it's going to go kind of fast, but we'll put them down at the bottom. You know, places annuals are great for are in pots, decorating front entryways, back patios. Also, you can pop some annuals into beds if you want to. Mm-hmm. So here are a few annuals that you could get for quick fall color. A lot of these you're going to know, but pansies and violas. I'm really into the purples this year. I love pansies because they will come back in the spring. Every year when I plant my pansies in the fall, I always plan on what I want to see in the spring, because they will come back in the spring. They are really tough little nuts.
Wow.
And violas are fascinating to me. There's a whole movement of some people in Japan that are doing these violas, and it's starting to get here. So violas are something to keep an eye on, and hopefully we'll be able to get seed for some of those varieties soon and grow some of our own really beautiful violas. Ornamental kale and cabbage, you see that a lot. I'm going to grow some ornamental kale for the first time this year from seed. But it's really easy to go just get that at the garden center. Snapdragons are another one. I have snapdragons that I've planted in ground that are doing another fall bloom. If I'd cut them back a little harder, I probably would have had an even better one, but you can get those at the garden center. Calendula, Dusty Miller's, easy to find. It actually looks really nice in flower arrangements.
Yeah.
Dianthus, which is carnation, and then chrysanthemums that we all know. One thing with mums is that there's also a movement for perennial mums, and I love them. I'm really bad every year of missing the window to buy them though. Like how you buy tulips in the fall and they grow in the spring, kind of have to buy the chrysanthemums in like February, March, April, and then you get them in to grow. Although I have had them bloom during the summer, by the way, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, you do have a nice chrysanthemum collection.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I'm really into that you can also buy as an annual, but I'm into the perennial version of it, is asters.
Oh, yes.
I've always loved them, but they were one of the things I chose last because they weren't always quite as big or showy. And I thought, well, they're just going to die, which is true because they're annuals. But then I started touring some English gardens in the fall last year, and their perennial asters blew me away, like 5 feet tall. And as I researched them more, they're in all different heights, colors, shapes. They're so good for the pollinators.
Yeah.
My asters that I planted last fall started blooming in August. And I think they're going to probably go for me from August to hopefully October. And when the bed I put them in fills out with the other things I have in there, I'm going to have a really pretty fall display. So I designed one bed to really shine mostly in the fall.
Which is exciting that you thought ahead like that, because people usually don't.
But we're so ready for spring.
Yeah.
So we usually plan for spring or early summer. And then we have this kind of like barren period from like July until September a lot of times. And then September to October, you may have a few things like the dahlias and the zinnias and celosia, but you want to fill in with some of these other things. So the great thing with asters is they're both an annual and a perennial. So let's have Kate tell you about some of the perennials that you can do. A few of these might surprise you that fall is the best time to plant them because you're going to think of them as spring bloomers.
Yeah, but if you do it now, you'll be ahead of the game. And your spring self will absolutely be thanking you because you'll have plenty of other stuff to do. So perennials to plant in the fall. We have peonies. Fall is definitely the time to plant those bare roots. You can still order those. I've transplanted one in February and it came up, but right now is the time to do it.
You know, honestly, I've bought peonies that are like the full-on plant. At this time of year, you're cutting the leaves off, but you can buy a potted plant and still put it in, and I think it's fine. I've done that too.
They're actually very hardy.
Just don't plant them too deep. So remember
make,
that.
Make sure that they like to be shallow.
But this is actually a better time of year to plant them.
It is the time to plant, is absolutely in the fall. And you know what I'm going to do too is not only planting, but dividing.
You're right. This is the time to divide them.
I have a really, really big white peony that I need to pull up in the front and divide and put her in different places. So
that's a great idea.
I'll be working on that.
So glad you said that.
I am too, because I kind of forgot about her. We talked about it this spring. So, all right, irises, divide and replant your rhizomes.
Yep.
And those like to be very shallow. Like those rhizomes like to be...
They gotta feel the sun on them.
Have the sun shining on their little faces. Hardy geraniums, cranesbill. You have lots of hardy geraniums.
Well, I'm growing my collection. I wouldn't say I have a lot, but I did actually buy a new variety that was at a garden center for half off. They look a little bedraggled, but they're a perennial, and I'm absolutely going to put them in right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I'm totally going to put them in the ground right now. They're going to be great. They're going to be in addition to the rose mixed cut border flower bed that I don't have a good name for.
That's okay. We'll figure out a name.
Yeah.
Lavender. You have some lavender you still need to get into your beds. Hellebores, rooted now, and you'll have blooms in the late winter, early spring. I was amazed at how long your hellebores bloomed for.
They bloom
So I was like, how are they still going? And I actually have a hellebore that is sitting on the side of my driveway that I need to plant.
That has lived through the summer.
It has, bless her heart.
On the driveway.
We'll see if she makes
in
it.
partial shade. No, she'll make it.
Okay.
They're super tough. And
hardy
the other thing I will say, I really love the wedding series of hellebores. I got a new one in the spring, but I'm going to buy myself another one this fall because I want the whole collection.
I know you do.
They're so pretty. Okay, anyways.
All right, ferns.
Yep.
Hostas, now is the time that you can be pulling them out and dividing and replanting. Better than even in the spring. You can still do it in the spring, no problem, but really now's the time to do it. I have a batch of sedum that I need to put in the ground as well.
I mean, it's one of the most bulletproof plants you can buy.
Yeah.
I have divided it and replanted it in July, and it's lived. You can do it in the spring, but I think it's really good in the fall after it finishes blooming. Yeah, sedum is really awesome.
You have some more that you want to divide. I don't know if you do or not. Do you?
I probably am going to divide where the lavender hill is. There's still quite a bunch there. I might thin it out a little bit and spread it around and give you some more if you want.
I was going to say, I think that sedum would look really good in the pastoral bed.
Beautiful.
And then whatever grows, then I can continue to divide what grows there in the rest of that bed. That just made me think of it. Asters, daylilies, and echinacea or coneflowers. So now is the time to divide them. I'm scared too. I don't want to do it.
Yours are two, yeah.
I know. They're two babies for next year.
We're talking about dividing things. That is something that we probably should have put in our September Garden Ready episode. But the thing about division is these plants should probably be at least 3 years old.
Yeah.
You don't want to start with like a 1-year-old plant and start dividing it. So you definitely want to give it some time. But the thing about this is if you don't have these plants, let's say you don't have sedum and you don't have echinacea and you don't have asters,
find a friend
you can
that
plant
does.
them. Yeah, of course, call us up. No, but not only, it's not just about dividing it, it's about that you can also plant them right now, more importantly, and then they're going to do well for you. And a lot of these things you can also sow from seed, like many echinaceas need the stratification of cold and warm and moisture. And this is the time of year that you can put some of those in the ground. So we're talking about planting mature plants, but you can also do seeds. And that's the next thing. So here's a few really quickly. Iceland poppy, calendula, eryngium. I really like one variety called Miss Wilmott's Ghost. It's this like white, silvery color. It's just beautiful. So if you haven't ever looked at it before, definitely give those a check. Culver's root, other kinds of poppies aside from Iceland poppy, the California poppies will do really well. Nigella, bells of Ireland. Some people do their sweet peas in the fall or late winter. I have an opinion about that, but let's not get into it. But those are your September seeds. October, Echinacea pallida, Echinacea tennescensis, yellow coneflower, rose milkweeds, monarda, either monarda bradburyana, or there are a couple other native monardas that you could do. Your ammis, so like green mist. Yeah.
Interesting, because I did my ammi in the spring.
I did mine in the fall.
Interesting. And mine were massive in the spring. So you could do either or. But you know what? It was one less thing you have to do.
I'll tell you what else. I did wallflowers in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish I would have planted them in the fall because they're a biennial, so I have to wait till next year for them to bloom. And rudbeckia is a really common one. Bachelor's buttons and lupine. I'm sure there's even more that I'm forgetting about. There's some that you should have done maybe in July, like foxglove and delphinium and scabiosa. I would say do it anyways right now.
Yeah.
Do it anyways because it's not going to hurt. Some are going to be better inside. Some will be outside direct sow. I'm giving you the list. Use your resources and you'll be able to see which ones should be direct sown and which should be sown inside. But there are really so many options. Don't discount seeds. Even if it's just a little patch of earth you get ready. Some of them may be a little more finicky, but others like the echinaceas will do really well in not the best soil. So let's talk a little bit about shrubs, and then we're going to wrap this up because we're trying to keep this one kind of short and
high
sweet
level
for you.
We can talk.
So you can get out there buying things.
That's right. Okay, so last thing, fall is definitely the time for planting shrubs. Hopefully you didn't plant any over the summer, and
if you did, they're dead. So
they're dead. Now is the time to plant those. What could you be putting in? Roses?
Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to stop you there because I always plant my bare root roses in the spring.
Well, that's when they sell them. That's when they come on sale. They ship to us. So that's the supplier's fault.
I know. No, it is. What's interesting is that I think in the UK that there's a lot more availability because people are talking more about planting them in the fall. And if you think about it, a lot of those places are colder than us and they're getting them in the fall. I did plant several varieties last year in the fall. One of them didn't make it. It's the first time I've ever had a rose not make it. And the other one was fine. But you can do roses. And I think I planted mine a little later than early September. So I would say if you see a rose right now at a nursery, get it and plant it right away.
You'll be happy
and you'll be
spring.
okay. And you'll be so happy in the spring. But I wouldn't sit on it for very long.
Agreed. It needs to get root establishment before the frost comes.
Yeah, and that's the same thing for the next two on our list.
So hydrangeas are on there. Mock orange, which I really want some mock orange. Where are we going to find me mock orange?
Well, I got mine from White Flower Farm, and I got it's a double white mock orange.
I want
and
it.
I really love it. I mean, they're still pretty new. They're going to get to about 6 feet, but they're great. I planted my serviceberry in the fall, which is called an amelanchier. You could also plant spirea in the fall as well. Some places spirea is considered invasive, and there's certain varieties that are less aggressive, but I have one that's growing behind the smaller variety of hydrangeas. It's going to be like a backdrop, two really different textures.
That's really pretty.
And the serviceberry, it's got really great fall foliage. Again, these next ones you can definitely plant now until basically February.
Absolutely. Boxwood, yew, laurel, thuja, and your camellias. And I actually have some more camellias I want to put in. I did put that one in. She did great, so I need to plant some more of those this fall. And then my mother-in-law wants to plant a tree in honor of her late dog that she lost. She wants to plant a tree on our property, and she actually picked out a ginkgo tree. And I said, yeah, that's great. This fall is the time to do it. So we need to figure out where we're going to put it.
Make sure it's not a female.
That's right.
Yeah, they end up being very stinky when they drop their things.
Oh, I'll oversee the purchase of this ginkgo, and then you'll help me place it.
You know, this is the time of year a lot of nurseries do have things on sale. Yeah. So just do a quick search for other shrubs like goat's beard and things like that. There's so many plants. Did Japanese anemones make our list? I don't think they did.
But you should mention them right now.
Well, yeah, I absolutely love Japanese anemones, and I think they're one of the most beautiful plants. They can handle part sun, shade. They really tend to like shade, but they can handle morning sun. The most delicate little white flower. I love when they come in bloom and they look great and like a woodland landscape, and it's a perennial. But right now I have color because those are blooming. My hostas still have leaves on them. So, you know, it fills in, and that's just one of my favorites. So definitely get some of those. And they actually stay in a vase for a couple days, you know. They've got a little vase life.
Yeah.
Caitlyn and I said this in another episode. We're big fans of planting in vegetables too, like Swiss chard for color.
Absolutely. Throw some edible landscapes in there. Yeah, we get that with the ornamental kale. You can actually do real kale and, you know, be eaten part of your potted plant.
Exactly. Go for it. Yeah. Anyways, well, let's go get dirty and get some fall color.
Let's go grow, baby.
Thanks for listening to Fostering Blooms. If this episode inspired you, send it to a friend who's ready to ditch bland grocery store radishes and get spicy in the garden with us. We'd love it if you left us a 5-star review. That helps other people like you find our podcast. And don't forget to tag us on Instagram when your blooms show off. Until next time, let's go grow, baby.